terms of inspiration lyrically, how did you come up with your ideas for your songs and the concepts?
The way I write music is I almost always start with just picking up the guitar and playing chords and singing some sort of melody. And if I like the chords and I like the melody, then I usually make a quick little recording on the laptop with it. And when I'm singing the melody, to me it sounds like blah blah blah, blah blah blah. But there's usually words that come out as well. I don't even consciously hear them when I'm doing this, but when I've recorded them and I listen to them back, then I hear, oh, that was a phrase there was words, maybe this is what the song is supposed to be about. So I really tried to let this kind of unconscious stream of consciousness that came out of my mouth when I played these chords, this combination of these chords and this melody, to kind of steer me in the direction that the songs would go. So then I would sit down with a notepad and write down those first lines that had come out, or those word fragments that had come out, and I write them down and try to discover where it was that they were trying to lead me. And sometimes I'd get stuck and I'd have to pick the guitar up again and try to recreate that moment of inspiration again, and sometimes that would again kickstart where the lyric is meant to go. But I tried really hard not to consciously write about anything or to write in a predetermined way. I really wanted this to be a subconscious, organic kind of process this time.
Everywhere in the same old town, but there's big, big lies. There's big, big lies.
A lot of the lyrical themes seem to me to be about feeling trapped by the mundane and wanting to escape. Is that something you
I've
feel?
always wanted to do. Yes, since I was a kid, I've always wanted to travel. I came from a really small town, a nice town, but quite a small town and quite a particular way of life. And I remember being like even 8 and 9 years old, and I knew I wanted to leave and to live somewhere else and go to Hollywood and be an actor, or then as I got older to be like a rock and roll star, to travel, and so it really took me. I'm a bit of a late bloomer, so it took me till I was over 30 till I finally jettisoned the more kind of normal routine life of, you know, a 9-to-5 job, and I always did music, but it was kind of as a little hobby on the side and not as like following my passion for music. And it wasn't until I had turned 30 that I started to realize, listen, if I don't do this now, it's going to be too late. So it was that point where I left America and left my job and my house and cars and all that stuff, and just I went to Ireland first for 6 years, and that was really liberating, just to kind of walk away from a particular life and start over again in a new place, in a new country, and say, right, this is my time. This is the time I can start trying to make music and see what happens.
When I'm shaking off this life I've left behind, when I'm facing all the pain that's left inside.
Flip side of the feeling of wanting to escape from the mundane in your music is also this sort of urge towards transcendence. Is that something that you feel music can do?
Yeah, for me, it has always played that role of kind of transporting me to another place, or even just a bit of a feel-good drug for me. If I'm not feeling well, or I'm upset, or I'm depressed about something, then picking up the guitar and playing is a real therapeutic thing for me. And I think even the process of songwriting is me working these things out in my head and emotionally as well. that comes out in the music. So yeah, it's exactly that for me.
And the song I particularly like, my favourite on the album is I'm Gone, which it's got a really, it stands out because it's got a really folky feel to it, and I think there's a real timeless quality to the lyrics. Is that a particularly personal song for you?
Yeah, that's a real personal song. In fact, it was so personal, I emailed my parents the lyrics of that song before I recorded it to make sure they were comfortable with, because I was writing about them, and I wanted to make sure that they were comfortable with what I was writing about before I put it out into the world. If they hadn't been comfortable, I would have just kept that song for myself. But they liked it, and I was really happy about it. But it is a really personal song. The music, again, I don't know where that music came from. I never really was a fan of like folky kind of music or mountain music or anything like that when I was younger. And now that I'm older, I really appreciate it. But when I was younger, I never really liked that kind of music. So it wasn't something I really felt I'd ever write, that style of music. But it came from somewhere. And even the style of guitar playing, I've never played songs like that before, let alone wrote anything like it. So I felt a bit like a channel for that song. I don't know whose ghost came into me there, but I was glad they came. It was a good experience.
My daddy was the son of a poor man, baptized by the flood and the lies. Even Christmas morn, no new boots to be worn, but he never let them see him cry. No, we never let them see him cry.
How do you think that being a musician and writing songs has changed in the last, say, 10 or 15 years?
Yeah, I don't know. All I can say is how it's changed for me, and I think for myself, I always tried to write music like somebody like Paul McCartney, because I really admire him as a songwriter, John Lennon as a songwriter, and I tried to write lyrics like as clever as Elvis Costello or something, or like Difford and Tilbrook of Squeeze, this type of really strong melodies and really strong lyrics, as opposed to writing like me, which might not be anything like them. So for me, my evolution of songwriting has been trying to strip away this trying to be like other people and trying to find my own voice as a songwriter, and that's a scary journey. And I probably wrote some really poor songs at the beginning of that journey because I wasn't fully embracing myself as a songwriter. But once I got my head around, listen, just be yourself, and that's okay, whether it's good or it's bad, it's just what's coming out of you. That was really liberating for me, and I think it really improved my songwriting.
I know you'll never understand.